Today I rise in support of my bill, H.R. 5625, the Cashless Bail Reporting Act. In August of 2025, the whole nation watched in horror as we witnessed the brutal murder of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska on a Charlotte light rail. This murder took place right outside my district in a city I've called home for many years. This tragic incident cannot be described as anything other than a cold-blooded murder carried out by a dangerous individual who should not have been out on the streets to begin with. Irina Zarutska's alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., had 14 prior arrests and had previously served a 5-year sentence for robbery with a dangerous weapon. DeCarlos Brown Jr. was out on a written promise to appear in court when he murdered Irina Zarutska. DeCarlos Brown Jr. should not have been released on a simple written promise to appear in court, given his extensive history of crime and violence. There are many aspects of public safety that must be addressed to keep our streets safer. One of the most pressing issues is bail reform. As we celebrate Police Week and welcome many brave members of our law enforcement to the Hill, I can't help but think about how some states and local governments choose to make law enforcement officers' jobs harder and more dangerous through the laws and policies they enact. State legislatures, city councils, and rogue prosecutors have implemented radical bail laws and other policies that have worsened violent crime. These laws and policies have eliminated cash bail, restricted judges from imposing constraints on dangerous criminals, and even mandated the immediate release of criminals back into the community. Now more than ever, it is important that we prioritize American citizens and support our law enforcement officers. States like Illinois, California, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York have modified their bail practices to eliminate or de-emphasize the use of monetary bail systems, which has resulted in increased property and violent crimes. A March 2023 study by researchers at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice found that approximately 72% of violent felony offenders who were released without bail were later rearrested. State and local jurisdictions must take steps to address the problems that arise with irresponsible cashless bail policies. I applaud my home state of North Carolina for passing Irina's law, which dealt with cashless bail, among other things. However, we cannot and should not sit and wait for more jurisdictions to experience tragedy to do something about these reckless bail policies. To be clear, bail is not a criminal fine or a punishment. It is not a reflection of a defendant's guilt or innocence. It exists to ensure the defendant will appear at all required proceedings during their criminal case. Bail is imposed after an assessment of risk. The risk that a defendant may flee from a jurisdiction and the risk that a defendant may harm witnesses or other members of the community if they're released before trial. My bill, the Cashless Bail Reporting Act, will empower Americans with the information they need to advocate for much-needed changes. This bill simply requires the Attorney General to publish a list of each state and local jurisdictions that allows individuals charged with certain serious offenses to be released before trial, either on personal recognizance or unsecured appearance bonds. This list will be made public and updated periodically to ensure Americans have accurate data on the extent of cashless bail across our country. Americans should be able to see which jurisdictions have enacted dangerous and irresponsible policies related to bail when making decisions about where to live, to work, or to travel. It also shows Americans where change is needed most. The American people deserve transparency and accountability when it comes to policies that affect public safety.